afternoon. My name is John Brislin. I'm from SBA's Office of International Trade. I'm here today to speak to you about an introduction to public sector support for exporting, which is part of the From Local to Global series. In interest of the slides, I will stop my video and keep speaking. First off, I want to speak about the Washington Export Outreach Team. The Washington Export Outreach Team, or WEOT, is a collaboration of local, state, regional, and federal public sector partners who provide export assistance to small businesses across Washington state. The first aspect of the whole exporting process is to start with a plan. Exporters who reactively export, in other words, what happens is they have a website, somebody reaches them from overseas, wants to fulfill a sale. Sometimes they're challenged in the fact that they haven't set up exporting within their business plan, so that they end up selling on unfavorable terms and possibly not getting paid. We work with companies to proactively export, and by means of doing that, you set up an export business plan with part of our WEOT partners, and then use our other agencies to help connect with foreign markets, as well as the third leg, which I'm part of. We help you assist that you get paid in a timely manner and mitigate risk. So again, the first part we're going to speak about is starting with a plan. And again, SBA funds these various partners that can help you with both business plans, a general business plan, setting up your business, or with export business plans. And again, some of the resource partners that SBA has is the Washington Small Business Development Center Network, SCORE, the Veterans Business Outreach Center located at Business Impact Northwest. We have Washington Women's Business Center at Business Impact Northwest as well as for companies looking to do government procurement, we have the Washington Procurement Technical Assistance Center, which helps you to sell to the states and federal government. First, let's speak about the Washington Small Business Development Center Network. Again, they are the one agency that most proactively works with companies in regards to development of the export business plan. Some of the services they provide are one-on-one business advising, customized market research, provide export training webinars and seminars when things are open. They also provide advocacy and referrals. And the Washington SBDC is the only SBDC across the country that actually has managed and organized and managed trade missions going over into Asia, and they've done that over successive years. Again, what's unique about their services is they provide confidential, customized, and in-depth. They establish trusted and long-term relationships at no cost. And again, the Washington Small Business Development Center Network has the benefit of their affiliation with Washington State University. So they've got an export research team that can help you in your process of developing your plan. The other small business development centers are located at community colleges across the state, and you have assistance with those local community colleges as well. So a great partner to work with. The person representing Western Washington is Eliha, and again, she is the International Trade Business Advisor. She also has a Certified Global Business Professional designation, so that shows that she's well trained in. She covers Western Washington, working with export businesses. Vern Jenkins covers Eastern Washington and works out of Spokane. Worked with Vern for a long time. He's very good. And when you're working with a Small Business Development Center Network, typically you'll get assigned to a Certified Business Advisor, which will help with your overall business plan. And Vern and Ellie, who are your International Trade Business Advisors, will help with that export component of your business plan. And again, if you're looking for other WEOT resource partners to help with your domestic business plans or specific facets, we have the Minority Business Development Agency, Washington Business Center down at Tacoma, the MBDA Business Center. And if you're looking, if you're a manufacturing company interested in things like lean or advanced manufacturing, we have Impact Washington, which is a NIST MEPS partner. That stands for Manufacturing Extension Partnership, funded by U.S. Department of Commerce, National Institute of Standards and Technology. Here are some resources online if you want to start on your plan yourself or would like to get further educated about it. SBA has developed an export business planner for your small business, and you can use that plan as a framework to develop a business plan. The International Trade Administration has information as well as videos on how to develop an export plan. If you're looking to develop a domestic plan, the Washington Small Business Development Center Network has business plan templates there, as well as SCORE provides business plan templates for startup businesses. So oftentimes, if you're, say, a startup business or you're early formed, you may work with the Washington SBDC certified business advisors, the SCORE business mentors, to help develop that plan. As you start wanting to fulfill out the export part of the business plan, you might be referred to a international trade business advisor, the Small Business Development Center, or sometimes we get referrals in as well. Now, the second stage that we need to speak about is how to meet your match. And that's basically how to find your partners overseas. Certainly, you could look for them yourselves, but again, we have various government resources can help you avail yourself to finding both foreign buyers and channel partners, as well as identifying markets. One of the things you have to realize is that, on the internet, a company may seem like they're well established and all that, but it may be a facade unless you actually physically go out and meet them, which is a recommendation for international business, that you meet with your buyers. But oftentimes in this environment, you might not. So relying on these partners will certainly help. So let's go through this part. The agency is going to help you to meet your match stateside. We have the Washington State Department of Commerce. We have the U.S. Commercial Service, which is part of the International Trade Administration, which is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce. We've got the Washington State Department of Agriculture. We've got the Western U.S. Agricultural Trade Association. And then we have the U.S. Department of Agriculture Foreign Agricultural Service, which is headquartered in Washington, D.C. Now, they partner with their overseas connections to help serve you. For example, the Washington State Department of Commerce, the Washington State Department of Agriculture have foreign contractors who assist them with you to help develop your markets and meet buyers overseas. The U.S. Commercial Service, U.S. Department of Ag, and the U.S. Department of State have staff in the embassies and consulates overseas. You may go into an embassy and you might meet with one or possibly all three of these partners. So the USCS has foreign commercial service officers. The U.S. Department of Ag has agricultural trade officers, and the U.S. Department of State has foreign officers, again, in these embassies and consulates. And again, your best way to connect to these contractors or these officers is through your local resource, being the agencies that I initially said, because what they all do is they'll help you fill out a survey form of what you need. They will connect you with their overseas counterparts. So I want you to understand that process. And again, with various agencies, criterion of whether you're going to qualify for support. So for example, this is the criterion for the U.S. Commercial Service. So again, they're looking for a company that's export ready, meaning that you've got an export business plan. Your product or service is of U.S. origin, and your product contains at least 51% U.S. content. If you need help looking for buyers, international distributors, or marketing partners, or you need U.S. government assistance to overcome foreign market obstacles, again, this would be the agency to work with. Now, the U.S. Commercial Service Seattle is in downtown Seattle. It's actually the floor above Washington State Department of Commerce in the Westin Tower. And again, the products they provide are how they differentiate themselves is their worldwide recognition. Certainly, the International Trade Administration is well known across the world. They have a global network with trade experts in more than 80 countries that can provide you with on-the-ground knowledge and connections, and they're results-driven. They have expert in-person counseling, which is unparalleled and designed to help you succeed in global markets. And again, the services they provide are first is with the export counseling, as well as develop your export strategies. The second component they do is market intelligence. The third component they do is business matchmaking. And the fourth, they provide commercial diplomacy. So again, with their worldwide staff, they can certainly engage with you. Now, again, they offer virtual services in this COVID environment, which might be very helpful. And when things open up again, they do provide services on the ground in those foreign markets. So again, through their virtual services, they have market research services. They have matchmaking services. They can provide due diligence when you're looking at international companies to sell to or partner with. They can offer in-country promotions. Right now, they're doing virtual promotions, but again, when things open up, they will be doing in-country physical participation in trade shows. They're offering virtual events like virtual fairs and introductions, and they're hosting webinars that are both market briefings on select markets overseas and export training, as well as various sector briefings overseas as well. And again, here's the contact team at the U.S. Commercial Service in Seattle. Diane Mooney runs the team. The team is assigned various sectors, and you can determine which sector you fall into. If you don't fall within a general sector, then my recommendation is Diane will assign a trade specialist to work with you. They're all very knowledgeable. I've worked with them for years. I highly recommend their services. Now let's speak about the Washington State Department of Agriculture. On this slide, it's Julie Johnson. Julie Johnson is your single point of contact there. She's the Export Development and Outreach Trade Specialist. It's part of their national marketing program. Again, Washington State Department of Agriculture works with small to medium-sized Washington suppliers of agricultural and food products, both fresh and processed, and beverages. That also includes nursery products, hay, and pet foods. Again, they work with suppliers at all stages of the exporting process. Now, their international marketing core functions are export development, export assistance, market access, and again, they have those overseas representatives who I've met with. They're very wonderful. They participate now in virtual missions and trade shows. They're looking to engage in in-person missions in the fall and winter, and they will provide one-on-one in-person consultations with the foreign overseas reps in August. And again, those foreign overseas reps will come here and help you, speak to you about your products and determine whether they will sell in those key markets that they represent. And again, here's the contact for the team over there. Ryan Perry manages the team. They're all assigned to both foreign markets as well as industries. So again, I would recommend contacting Julie first, and Julie will connect you to her teammates at WSDA. Now let's next speak about WSATA, the Western U.S. Agricultural Trade Association. And this is a regional agency that works with the 13 Western states, and it's supporting their agricultural exports. Okay, the services they provide, they've got a grant program called Fund Match, where you can receive up to a 50% cost reimbursement on your international marketing expenses in USD-approved U.S. domestic trade shows. And again, they have a Global Connect program where you can explore a variety of export markets by participating in buying missions, trade shows, events, and activities. And they also offer export education where you can attend popular market trend webinars, seminars, and access valuable market research and timely consumer insights. I participate in their export education events, and they bring in some top-notch experts to speak to you. And again, the contact person at WSATA, a gentleman by the name of Luke Burns, who's new to the agency, but again, WSATA is a great organization to work with. They've got great horsepower in what they do. Now, let's speak to another agency where their question is, are you export ready small business and have a product or services with U.S. origin or 51% U.S. content? You're looking for support in international markets to attend trade shows and trade missions, and looking for grants to help cover international business development activities. That agency is the Washington State Department of Commerce. They have the Small Business Export Assistance Division, SBEA, Office of Economic Development and Competitiveness, OEDC. So again, lots of acronyms, but again, it's Washington State Department of Commerce. That's what you need to know. Okay, they have 10 strategic partners that can help you connect you, a Washington business, to potential buyers, distributors, and partners. These are the contractors that support those regions, and they can support neighboring countries as well. So that's where their contractors are located. And again, they can extend into that region as well that they live in. So again, some of the products, the virtual programs and services that Washington State Department of Commerce is providing right now is they're participating in virtual missions, which connect Washington companies with potential buyers, partners, and distributors, and strengthen engagements with international partners. They're offering virtual business-to-business matchmaking using their consultants network. They offer market research webinars to help identify new export market opportunities. They're offering both virtual and hybrid trade shows where you may have local representation by overseas consultants. They offer hands-on export trainings with experts on the subjects of marketing diversification, e-commerce, and new export strategies due to COVID-19. And they provide virtual workshops on topics such as the USMCA, and they have increased their collaboration with federal, state, and local partners such as myself. One thing I want to point out is now the Washington State Department of Commerce, their staff have been actually engaged in going to overseas trade shows and are bringing Washington State companies. So again, they're a little bit closer to what we're all working towards, which is a wide open world where you have the choice to either participate in a trade show virtually or actually in person. That's where we speak about the hybrid trade show component. Again, the other thing that Washington State Department of Commerce provides is the STEP grant. This is a grant funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration to support small business exporters. Again, it provides direct cash assistance in the form of export reimbursement vouchers to offset international business development costs. The export vouchers can be up to $10,000 for eligible export expenses. And again, here's some of the uses of the STEP grant voucher program, which would help a company to develop a digital strategy. And the STEP program can help, which has been critical during this COVID period. So some of the expenses eligible for a STEP export voucher are things like international website design, development and translation, international search engine optimization, website localization, e-commerce platform fees, expenses to set up a website to accept international payments, international marketing and advertising, including product videos, translation of marketing media into local languages. You can pay for the services provided by the U.S. Commercial Service. The additional eligible expenses would be international trade shows or mission fees, both virtual or in person, compliance testing of an existing product for entry into an export market, international shipment of product samples, the costs associated with international IP protections, and export research tool subscriptions. So again, one of the things that you'll find as both a business B2C company where you're selling business to consumer, certainly this is maybe a forefront of your business proposition. But again, a lot of companies who are selling into the supply chain, the majority of the B2B business is supply chain selling of products. And again, companies need to develop this to compete in the future. And again, the reimbursement levels are up to $10,000. You can apply up to 3 times. They need to be accepted before the end of the federal fiscal year, which is September 30th, 2022 this year. Okay, the reimbursements for some activities are capped. And the question you first need to ask, are you eligible? Do you meet the SBA criterion for a small business concern? That's based upon the number of employees or your revenue. You need to be in business for at least 1 year. You need to demonstrate export readiness. Again, that export business plan certainly can help. And you need to be registered to do business in Washington State. If you're in another state, you may engage with their STEP grant programs as well. And again, what's the next step? You fill out an application. You can go to commerce.washington.gov and search for the export voucher. The Washington State Department of Commerce reviews these applications twice a month. You want to typically apply probably 45 days before you're interested in doing an activity. Then once you've been approved and notified by Washington State Department of Commerce, you incur your expense and submit your documentation, your receipts for that activity. And then 4 weeks afterwards, you'd receive your reimbursement after submitting your documentation. So you've got to follow this process stream to be able to do it. So again, my recommendation, here's the list of the Small Business Export Assistance Team. But the point of contact in regards to the STEP grant is Nicole Gunkel here, who's the 5th down the list. And again, Nicole's wonderful. She manages the STEP grant program along with Mary Ferguson at Washington State Department of Commerce. Again, get involved with her in the process and get involved as early as possible if you want one of the grants. Again, this is Nicole Gunkel's contact information again. Now, in regards to some online sources for you to meet your match, some suggestions I have is the U.S. Commercial Service has a basic guide to exporting. And this is a book that goes over the various facets of exporting that provides case studies as well. You can download the thing and use it as a resource. They also have on the International Trade Administration website, They've got a Learn How to Export page, which you can work off. It has videos and information. They've got an overview of ITA's virtual services, which I spoke to earlier, as well as of interest, certainly is e-commerce. The International Trade Administration has an e-commerce innovation lab. So again, getting involved with them as far as your resource to develop your e-commerce capabilities is another great resource. And again, some other information is they have a research center where you can find information by industry, by country, by regions of the world. You also have access to trade data and analysis. And the other thing they have is the top markets reports. So those are reports where, depending on what sector you're in, the top markets for you to sell your products. One of the other things in the research by country tab is that you have access to their country commercial guides, which is a doing business in to their country in that specific country. They're a wealth of information and great starting point for you to develop your business plan, as well as once you've picked a country to help support your knowledge of being able to how to sell into that country, that you can access yourself and then speak to the various international trade specialists at these agencies. Now let's speak about export finance and how to close the deal and get paid. Okay, the agencies can help you to fund your exports. The Export Finance Assistance Center of Washington, the U.S. Department of Ag, Foreign Agricultural Service, the Export-Import Bank of the United States, and the U.S. Small Business Administration. That's my group, SBA, Office of National Trade. Now, the Export Finance Assistance Center of Washington is a state-chartered nonprofit organization, and they provide export finance advice and resources to small business exporters. They provide export training, workshops, and webinars for small business exporters, also to community banks. So they're doing both supply and demand side. They're working with exporters that demand need of these products, as well as supply side, working with lenders to help provide these products that are needed. And they have referrals, they provide referrals and have strategic partnerships with the Washington State Department of Commerce, who they're funded through. They also have a regional export promotion program partnership with the Export-Import Bank of the United States. They also are a strategic partner of the U.S. Department of Commerce, International Trade Administration, U.S. Commercial Service. And again, Zara Castillo is the director over that agency. My suggestion is if you want to get involved with export education events, that you reach out to Zara. Zara's actually, as part of the STEP grant, has been putting on her own training sessions, but she's also hosts and promotes the training sessions provided by Washington State Department of Commerce. One of the programs of note that I recommend if you have the time to do is at least once annually, Zara brings in Jim Foley, who's a nationally recognized expert on international trade. He wrote the book, A Global Entrepreneur, which is oftentimes used as a textbook in many colleges and universities. Jim comes out and typically provides a training once a year where he does a one-day type class training, and the next day or two, he will meet one-on-one with your company. So again, a great opportunity to meet a nationally recognized expert through Zara Castillo. So again, I strongly suggest you reach out to Zara. Now let's speak about the USDA Foreign Agricultural Service. What does the U.S. Foreign Agricultural Service, how do they assist U.S. exporters? First is they have that global presence. Again, like the U.S. Commercial Service, Foreign Commercial Service, they have 98 overseas offices covering 175 countries. They have trade finance programs, including the GSM 102 Export Guarantee Program, which can provide foreign buyers with up to 18 months financing for agricultural goods. And again, the program is capped at $5 billion per year. So, I certainly recommend that you, if your buyer wants extended financing, that you might be able to explore this. They also offer the Facility Guarantee Program, which provides up to 10 years financing. So say you're looking to export agricultural goods into a foreign country and they don't have adequate storage facilities or processing. This is the ability to provide foreign buyer financing for them to purchase capital equipment that allows the expansion of the export of U.S. agricultural goods. The next program is market development. They have matching grant programs awarded to agricultural-related cooperators, usually trade associations, that devise programs, studies, outreach, and marketing to help access or expand into international markets. So part of that market development grant program funding is an organization that has received funding like that. A good example would be the Western U.S. Agricultural Trade Association or the Washington Wine Commission. So there's other across the state as part of their market access program grants. The next thing they support is trade policy. Again, they address sanitary and phytosanitary issues, as well as technical barriers to trade and negotiating free trade agreements. So, for example, they would work with a industry like the Washington State apples to be able to, for them to be able to export their apples overseas. They also have market intelligence under that link as well, where they can provide best trade prospects, market access, inspection information, standards, business climate, et cetera. So again, another resource for people in that value or commodities or value-added food and beverage sectors. And again, they also have their own trade shows and missions. And again, the U.S. companies, especially those new to export market, expand their reach to potential customers around the world. And your contact point is Maria Dorset, who's located in Washington, D.C., but she does come out to visit, or she has participated in our virtual export training sessions that we've held. The next agency we're going to speak about is the Export-Import Bank of the United States. Again, they're the official export credit agency of the United States, and what they're looking for to support a exporter is they're looking for a minimum 3-year history of both the exporter and the importer, that foreign buyer. The exporter must have a DUNS number as well as financial information. The product must be made in the United States with a minimum of 50% U.S. content. That is all the cost exclusive of the markup, the profit margin. The buyer must be located in a country where Ex-Im Bank is open for support per the country limitation schedule, and that's an important consideration. None of our agencies can support exports to companies that are on sanctions lists. For example, the Office of Foreign Assets Controls has sanctioned countries and individuals, parties on the list. We can't support exports to those, and you're going to need to be able to do that due diligence on that, which certainly the various agencies, we can show you where to find that to weed that out, but certainly that should be part of your export business plan in vetting your foreign buyer or your foreign partner. Ex-Im Bank, based upon when they were chartered, they can't support the export of military or defense-related products or buyers. Some exceptions may apply on a case-by-case basis. They don't support intercompany sales, so you can't sell to your foreign office overseas. And the sale should have no adverse economic impact in the United States. And these are restrictions that Congress has put upon this agency. And again, depending on what your needs, Ex-Im Bank has products that can assist you. If you need financing to fulfill export orders, they provide a working capital guarantee program. If you need risk protection, or you need to extend credit internationally, and you need foreign receivables finance, they provide an export credit insurance products, as well as there is a private sector entities that provide these products as well. They can also provide buyer financing of capital equipment exports. So again, this would be in the form of medium and long-term guarantees or insurance to support that sale. So again, in this case, the guarantees or the insurance would be provided to a lender to induce them to finance the foreign buyer. The export credit insurance is insurance that's provided to the exporter to risk mitigate non-payment. So again, let's speak about export credit insurance and its benefits. It's insurance on the receivables generated from the export credit sales. It offers risk protection, which protects against the buyer non-payment due to commercial and political risk. It's a sales tool because it empowers U.S. exporters to offer competitive credit terms, typically 30 to 60 days or up to 180 days. And it can even offer 360 days for capital equipment or machineries or bulk agricultural commodities. It's also a financing aid because, again, you can obtain additional financing because most banks will finance up to 90% of the invoice amount, but generally will only do that if it is insured. And again, Ex-Im Bank is a public sector provider of insurance, as well as there is a private sector market for insurance as well. And again, here's the contact information for Abby Martinez, who covers Washington State as well as several states, like I do. We're headquartered here, along with the U.S. Commercial Service, upstairs from the Washington State Department of Commerce. So when things open up, we certainly can set up a meeting interoffices where you can meet multiple agencies at the same time. Now let's speak about the U.S. Small Business Administration. Again, we provide counseling, loans, grants, referrals, and training. And again, within the Office of International Trade, what we do is we offer export advice and advocacy. And we actually we sit at the table when the U.S. government sets up trade negotiations with foreign countries representing small businesses. We provide grants to find foreign buyers, and that's what we're referring to there is the STEP grant program, which we fund to the states and the territories, Washington State being one of the most successful STEP grant award winners. We also are offering finance for international sales, and our goals are to increase the number of small business exporters and to also increase the volume of small business exports. And again, within SBA, we're looking for, are you a for-profit business and meet those SBA size standards? That's basically the number of employees based upon your NAICS code. Are you a direct exporter or indirect exporter of goods or services? So for example, an indirect exporter is somebody who makes a part that goes on a Boeing airplane that gets sold overseas. You can qualify for SBA's export loan programs as an indirect exporter. And again, it could be tangible goods or it could be service exports as well. And again, we're looking for products or services that ship from the United States, need to touch US soil in some way. We're looking for a business that can demonstrate good character, credit management, and ability to repay. That's true with all SBA loan programs. Again, we're looking for either existing businesses who have been in operation, even if not exporting, for at least 12 months, or if you're an early stage business with key personnel who have demonstrated export expertise and past business success, and you developed an export business plan, possibly with the Washington Small Business Development Center, and you've developed 12-month export sales projections, and you have supporting narrative rationale speaking about your business and your expertise of you and your team. If you're looking for grants for export market development and e-commerce, or you're looking for loans to support your export activities, SBA Office of National Trade is here to support you. Again, some of the uses of our export loan programs are for that export market development and e-commerce development. So say, for example, you're fortunate enough, you've gotten a STEP grant from Washington State Department of Commerce, but you've determined that you're going to need more than $10,000 to develop to do your export market development or build up your e-commerce e-commerce platform and stuff. SBA can provide term loans where instead of having to draw all your short-term cash to pay for these services, you can get extended terms out to finance this. If you need pre-shipment short-term export working capital, for example, you get an order, a purchase order or a contract, we can finance up to 80% of the contract up to the cost of the goods. Or if you're looking for post-shipment financing where you're looking for advances against your sales supported by export credit insurance or possibly letters of credit, we can provide higher advance rates against those foreign receivables. If, for example, for standby letters of credit, what I'm speaking about there is sometimes if you're bidding on a foreign project, to demonstrate the ability to fulfill the project, a foreign buyer might request a bid bond to show that you have the financial capacity to fulfill the thing. And once you're awarded the contract, they may ask for a performance bond, which again would determine the same thing. The other structure might be is if you've got a project where there's progress payments, where the foreign buyer is paying you partially along the way, might put a down payment at the time of the contract, and as the thing progresses, they pay more and more. Oftentimes, they want an advance payment guarantee back in the case you don't fulfill the contract. So again, we can support those advance payment guarantees as well. The next support we could speak about is fixed assets financing. As you develop your export marketing development and you have increased overseas sales, you might need to invest in real estate, capital machinery and equipment. We can provide fixed assets financing. Permanent working capital would be when you want to establish a inventory to have in stock to be able to support your export sales. We can do that. Debt refinancing, if you're looking to refinance debt that you have with various banks, for example, consolidating it so you have a 10% reduction in your loan payments per month. That'll free up cash for you to be able to help your company to grow. Or if you're looking for business acquisition, strategically, you may find that you might want to purchase one of your suppliers or a competitor to increase your exporting capabilities and stuff like that, we can support those activities as well. And again, here's the contact point for myself. My colleague Jim Newton covers Southwest Washington. That's covering Portland over into the Vancouver metro area. And I work collaboratively locally with Kathy Griffith, who's the Lender Relations Specialist and District International Trade Officer within SBA's Seattle District Office, where we work in both Washington and Northern Idaho. And again, here are some export finance online resources. The International Trade Administration has developed a trade finance guide, a quick reference for U.S. exporters. My recommendation is when you speak to a banker, you speak to somebody like me or my colleagues Avi or Maria, you might be a little bit confused at what we're saying. The Trade Finance Guide speaks about all our products in 2 pages in non-bankerese, non-government jargon, so you can understand what the product is, what problems it solves, and then that'll help you supplement your knowledge so that you can come back to us and we can drill more into details. The SBA also offers a small business resource guide for both Washington and Northern Idaho. That's got great information about all SBA's programs. And again, the bulk of SBA's lending is for domestic activities. So for example, if you're an importer or you're doing e-commerce where you're having goods manufactured overseas and warehoused and stuff, you might be able to engage with SBA's domestic programs. The International Trade Administration has some great videos on their YouTube channel. We at the SBA also have a YouTube channel, which has some great videos. And the Export-Import Bank also has a YouTube channel. So again, these videos are great because in 2 to 4 minutes, they speak about the products in plain languages. So again, you can determine whether this product might be of interest to you, and then you can reach back to us for more information. And again, if you want to find information on the Washington Export Outreach Team, we are on the SBA's Seattle District Office page. You can search for the WIAT, Washington Export Outreach Team, at sba.gov/WA. And again, I want to thank you very much for hearing my speech. Again, here's some links to subscribe to the SBA Office of International Trade. We offer an export newsletter and an export lender newsletter. And again, you subscribe to a variety of newsletters through public.govdelivery.com. You can look up SBA Office of International Trade on our LinkedIn page. Or if you want to find some small business exporting trade tools for international trade, you can click on that link. The other thing I want to mention too is that we're very fortunate in Washington State to have a robust sector industry and trade associations you can avail yourselves to. We can meet companies within your sectors. You can provide you with information about their exporting activities and possibly give you some, they might be also involved with trade missions, for example. Pacific Northwest Aerospace Association, PNAA, would be a good example. The other thing too is that we also have commodity commissions involved in agriculture as well. So again, these are other great resources, as well as you can certainly reach out to the public library system. Jay Lyman, who's the business library specialist at the Seattle Public Library, would be a great example. Mark Pond at the Spokane Public Libraries as well. So again, we've got some great resources. My mantra is that exporting might seem like a daunting task, but once you line up all your public sector resources, they'll help you develop your business plan and determine your foreign markets. They're there to assist you. And again, the other fortunate thing we have in Washington State is we have the robust private sector network of logistics companies, lawyers, accountants, those various functions that you're going to need to contract with, and we can help contact you with them as well. So again, I want to thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.